Hello and welcome to another product spotlight. Today I have a DCC and sound equipped locomotive from Athearn. So let's go over to the workbench and take a look. Alright, so here's what we're looking at today. This is an Athearn Genesis HO scale GP39-2. I looked on Athearn's website and found a number of different road names and several different road numbers in each name. This happens to be a Kodachrome Santa Fe model, and this model comes with DCC and sound for $289.98, and you can also find it DCC ready for $199.98. It uses Tsunami 2 for DCC. Your best bet would be to go to Athearn's website and find out if they have the one you're looking for. The model comes with some information about signing up for Athearn's email list, a warranty card, additional warranty information, an operator's manual with the sound guide for the Tsunami 2, and a bunch of exploded view drawings and a parts list. There's probably everything you could possibly need included with this locomotive in terms of documentation. So as usual, I have scrutinized the paint job and found that all the separation lines are very crisp and clean. And the paint is applied in such a manner as to be thin enough that you can see all the little molded details like the door hinges and latches and all that stuff. As a matter of fact, the door just behind the engineer's seat over here almost looks like a separately applied part. This is a really nicely done model. And being that it's in the Genesis line from Athearn, it's going to have a lot more detail than what you might expect from a model in this same price range. Something else to mention is that these are Blomberg M trucks, and just looking at it, the initial reaction I have is that they look more detailed than trucks that you normally see on models like this. Just overall, it's a very sharp and crisply painted model. Something else worth mentioning is that the handrails are nice and straight. That looks especially good. Okay, so we're looking at the cab area for detail now. And one thing I would point out is that it came with sunshades, and it also has the rear view mirror here. And that's a separately applied air conditioner on top and a separately applied horn casting also on top there. And if you look carefully, you'll notice that all of the little grabs are separately applied thin wire grabs. And something else that's kind of cool are the red number boards. Don't see that every day. And here's something kind of cool. The cab windows can be repositioned. Also looking at the front, you can see that there are rubber MU hoses, and there's an air hose on the other side, which we'll take a look at in a second. This is just very well done. From this side, I think you can see a little bit better that there are separately applied windshield wipers. Those look especially good and to scale. And you can see the air hose down here. And from this closer angle, you can see the recessed brake ratchet in the nose. Something else also cool is it has a beacon. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the beacon looks and if it lights up. If you look down around the fuel tank area, you can see that they've picked out some detail with some red paint. And you also have basically what looks like separately applied air tanks on the side. Looks really good. And if you look at the railings on this side, you'll notice they're nice and straight. And from this close-up angle, you can see the separately applied toolbox behind the conductor's seat. And the walkways have diamond plate tread detail. Looking at the back of the model, you'll see it's pretty similar to the detail on the front of the model. Those are all separately applied thin wire grabs that make up the ladder up the side. There's a thin wire curved grab there in the back on the roof. And then, of course, your MU hoses and air hose in the back here also are rubber for durability. This is the last three-quarter view we'll be looking at, but I wanted to take just a minute to point out the uncoupling lever also. Being Athearn Genesis, they add a lot of detail to models like this, and it's impressive the amount of detail they're able to add. All right, so looking at the top of the model, I just want to point out the depth in the fans. Those fans look pretty amazing. And I'm talking about both the rear fans and the dynamic brake fans as well. That's some pretty serious detail, and the grills are nice and fine. I mentioned about the curved grab here in the back. Looks excellent. And something else that may be hard to tell from this angle, but those are all separately applied lift rings. Thin wire lift rings. Pretty awesome. Also on top you can see the Sinclair antenna and ground plane. This guy here. And that's a separately applied vapor air conditioner and a Leslie S3 air horn. And then you can also see from this angle the beacon. So we've gone all the way around the model. It's time to run it. I don't know if you can tell, but it's really loud, like serious volume. I'm not kidding. I'm going to have to turn the sound down on this one. All right, so the light's directional and comes on with the F0 key. These are LEDs, and then the beacon comes on with F5. And now for the rear headlight. Looks really good. I think this is going to make a welcome addition to my collection as the only Kodachrome paint scheme locomotive that I have. But the good news is that it fits right in with some of the other Jeeps and SD models from around the same era that I've collected over the years. So I'm looking forward to being able to run it, together with those. I think it should look pretty sharp. And it's also plausible because the failed SP and Santa Fe merger produced this in both SP and Santa Fe locomotives, and just works. Something else I want to mention that I think is pretty cool is the Tsunami decoder. It just sounds really good in this particular model. I mean, they sound good in all the models as long as the speakers are done right. And coming from the factory and sounding that good, I think is a big bonus. That's it for this time, and I'll see you next time.